The first time he noticed it, it wasn't the lipstick stain or the late-night texts, it was the silence. Not the comfortable kind they used to share when lying side by side, reading or just existing together. No, this was a heavy, deliberate silence, like she was holding back words she no longer wanted to share with him. Daniel sat across from his wife, Claire, at their dining table. The candles flickered low, untouched plates sat between them, and her phone vibrated twice before she finally grabbed it, turning the screen away from his eyes. She typed quickly, smiling faintly, and for the first time in 12 years of marriage, Daniel felt like a stranger watching his wife disappear into someone else's world. "Who's that?" he asked, trying to keep his tone even. She froze for a moment too long. Then, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear, she replied, "Just Emma. From work." Her voice was calm, rehearsed even, but Daniel's gut twisted. Emma was real, yes, but the way Claire's cheeks flushed told him there was more. For weeks, he tried to convince himself he was paranoid. He told himself stress at work was clouding his judgment, that Claire was simply tired, distracted, maybe even going through something she hadn't voiced yet. But then came the nights she stayed out late, claiming she was working late with the team. He'd once believed her without question. Now every excuse sounded like a nail being driven into something he didn't want to name. One night, after she left again with her usual excuse, Daniel's chest tightened with a mix of dread and anger. He pulled out his phone, opened the tracker app he'd installed weeks earlier, something he never imagined he'd do, and saw her location. Not the office, not even close. She was at a hotel on the edge of town. His hands shook. His throat went dry. He wanted to throw the phone, smash it against the wall, but he couldn't move. Betrayal had a way of paralyzing the body, while tearing the heart apart. Hours later, when she slipped into bed beside him, the faint scent of cologne that wasn't his clung to her skin. She turned away whispering, "Long day," before drifting off. Daniel lay awake, staring at the ceiling, every second hammering home the truth he no longer wanted to deny. The next morning he decided. He wouldn't confront her with shouting. He wouldn't beg for explanations or let her spin lies into excuses. If she wanted to shatter what they built, then he would let her see the pieces for herself. That evening he prepared dinner, her favorite, roasted chicken with rosemary. He poured the wine they'd saved from their anniversary, and set the table with the same care he once did when he was trying to win her heart. When she walked in, surprised by the scene, he smiled as if nothing was wrong. "Wow," she said softly, setting down her bag. "What's the occasion?" "No occasion," he replied. "Just us." She hesitated, then smiled back, though her eyes flickered with unease. They ate mostly in silence, her gaze darting to her phone each time it buzzed. Finally, Daniel reached across the table and gently took the phone from her hand. Her lips parted. "Daniel, what are you?" He didn't say a word. He simply placed the phone face up between them. The screen lit with the name Ethan. The last message glowed like a knife in his chest. "Can't stop thinking about last night." Claire's face drained of color. She opened her mouth, then closed it again, her throat bobbing as she swallowed hard. "Daniel, But he raised his hand, a single gesture, silencing her completely. Not with anger, not with violence, but with a quiet finality that cut deeper than any words could. His eyes met hers, steady and unreadable. For once, she didn't have the chance to spin stories or craft excuses. He had given her silence, the very silence she had inflicted on him for months. Tears welled in her eyes. "It's not what it looks like," she whispered, her voice trembling. Daniel let out a faint laugh, though it sounded hollow even to him. "Claire, it's exactly what it looks like." She reached across the table, desperate now, her hand hovering over his. "I made a mistake. It didn't mean anything." He pulled his hand back, slowly, deliberately. "It meant enough to betray me." Her shoulders slumped. The strong, confident woman he'd built a life with now sat small and broken before him. But Daniel felt no triumph, no vindication. Only grief, the kind that seeps into your bones and leaves you colder than you ever thought possible. Can we work through this?" she asked, her voice barely audible. Daniel stood, his chair scraping softly against the floor. He looked at her one last time, his heart aching with the weight of 12 years collapsing in a single night. You silenced us long before I did, Claire. Tonight, I'm just finishing what you started. He walked away, leaving her alone at the table, staring at the untouched wine, the glowing phone, and the hollow echo of the life they once shared. That night, Daniel packed a single bag. He didn't slam doors or shout accusations. He moved quietly, almost reverently, as though mourning the death of something sacred. When he left the house, the air outside was cool, crisp, and heavy with freedom he didn't want but needed. For weeks afterward, Claire called, texted, begged. Sometimes he read the messages, sometimes he didn't. The words blurred together. I'm sorry. I love you. It was a mistake. Please come home. But each time, he remembered the silence between them. The heavy, suffocating silence she had filled with lies. He remembered the way her eyes flickered when she thought he wasn't watching. And he remembered the single gesture. The raised hand that had spoken all the words he no longer had strength to say. Because sometimes silence is the loudest truth. And Daniel had finally chosen to listen.